Is our starter, Russell Mount, at the other end. Oh, wow, a lot of hopping and cracking and jumping, and not sure whether Dennis put the brakes on, but that right rear wheel came to a sliding stop, and Ed, what a way to start off a session of Indy Super Pulling. Evidently something locked up inside. Once again, would like to announce to you, ladies and gentlemen, that our track officials, our competition director and the NTPA, Andy Main. Eagles are satisfied at the sled setting after Neil makes his run. Neil will not have the option to come back because he's really the second puller in line. Neil Freeze, here he goes. He calls it Color Me Gone. The Big Allison, 1,710 cubic inches. Close to that left side of the track, and Ed, I'm sure he wishes he could do that again. As he came out of the hole, he went over to the right side of the track and really had to hit the brakes, come back towards the left side, and then had to shut it down as he got close to the white line. So a tough break for Neil Freeze. Interesting now to see whether they'll take and change a sled or leave it set as is. I'm thinking maybe they would want to leave it set as is because the next guy's coming out the hook, the Banter brothers, awful strong, and any of these guys are strong enough that if they can get a straight run down the track, they can take it out the end. Let's give him a good hand as he lays the arena. Neil Freeze. Good hit for Neil Freeze. As I say, Les, he will be back. He will drop 6 places. Neil Freeze will be back. Okay, there was just on the rerun. We could see as he came down the track on the rerun on the TV screen. He went off to the right side of the track, then back towards the left, had to shut it down instead of going out of bounds. Up in the class, and that's the idea, to try and get the horsepower to the ground. Dave Banter looks out, he sees a green flag starting to bring up the car. Jumping and a hopping, don't know if he made it across the full pull mark, but Ed, you can see that front end was high in the air. Got the hopping and jumping, he did have to back out of it. What a job of driving that Dave Banter did, no doubt about it, just fantastic. Right now we will watch for the laser beam. As soon as you see that green light come on, we're going to have the distance up there in just a moment. But I'll tell you, he jumped on it. We talked to Dave after the pole. Here it is on the rerun, Ed. Look at that front end way in the air hopping, and really took a hard hop and a jump down there at the end, and he may have still gotten it out the end. And here it is on the screen. Full for the Banter brothers. You can see full for Dave Banter and the Orange Machine. And you know, Ed, the same thing happened the first time down the track in the 9 modified on Thursday night. Remember, come over towards good straight run down the track is what these guys are looking for, because every time they have to hit the brakes and try and keep it towards the center of the track or back out of it in order for forward motion. There he goes, EJ down, going hard. Get it out the end. Good run for Elton Towns, but not quite enough to get it out there to that 234-foot mark. On deck, Johnny Graves will be on deck, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Graves on deck of the Graves and Sons team from Arab, Alabama. In the hall, Norm Smith driving for the J&H team. Here it is, Ed, on the replay. The Sassy Massey team coming up on the replay. We'll be able to see it again. See, he comes out of the hole, does a nice job of bringing it out nice and smooth, starts to turn the tires, really decks it. And not quite picking that front end the way he would like. He's out about the 75-foot mark, and then starts to pick it. You can see the way it was hopping and jumping. As he made his run, he was really fighting it to try and get it towards the center of that track. And last, we must point out, it's the tractor and the driver that can weigh no more than 7,000 pounds. They're pulling much more than that, probably 7 times that amount. the Eliminator, voted the #1 sled back a couple years ago by the competitors themselves. An extremely good sled. In fact, all the sleds being used here at the Super Bowl are those sleds that are definitely the best sleds in the country. In fact, the two here have been voted the Sled of the Year in the past couple years by the competitors themselves. Waiting for the final roll and pack of the track, and they will scrape and roll the track between each competitor. They want to try and make it as fair as possible. These guys get the pulling position by the luck of the draw. They get a number, a little ball out of a ball machine. Low number pulls first, high number pulls last. The position of pulling is all by the luck of the draw. And we have at different times we've seen the track change. Sometimes it get better, sometimes it get worse. They do try and work it as evenly as possible for each competitor. Green flag is out for Johnny Graves out of Arab, Alabama, the homemade Allison machine. He really lights it up. He's got a good shot at it going down towards the left side of the track. Running full gear, digging and chewing it past the 150-foot mark. And good run. He had a well-weighted, did a good job of driving. You were watching his foot on the brake pedals, not hitting the brake very little as he came down the track.
And also, Les, just a good-looking tractor. Nice round of applause, would you, for Johnny Graves from Arab, Alabama.
Our next competitor, and here, let's take a look at the rerun as a green flag comes out for Johnny Graves. You'll notice the sled pan straighten up just a little as he hits the throttle, lifting that left front tire off the ground, but he started towards the left side of the track, and that's when he hit the brake and came back towards the center. Well weighted as he's spinning out with his front end just barely bouncing off the track.
Big one coming up. Johnny Shaul on deck and Marty Klaus. But we may see Dennis Christian.
Across the bull mark, and what a run for John Shaul driving the Triple Aries powered machine. John Shaul and Norm Smith team up on these machines. Interesting enough, on Thursday night, and remember we had Banners in first place, John Shaul, Norm Smith in second, Banners in third, and Shaul's in the fourth place. So these guys are really tough in all the 7, 9, and 12,000 pound classes. And there it is on the monitors. It's official. Full pull for John Shaul and Norm Smith with the Triple Aries powered machine.
So that means, Les, in this very popular 7,000 modified competition, that there will be a pull-off. One super run. Here we go. Here's the instant replay on the screen now. John Shaul.
See, Eddie really went over towards the left side of the track all the way up and just sneaks it right out the end. A great job of driving, because had he backed out of it, if he'd have backed out of it or hit the brakes any harder, Eddie has his eye on the green flag as he starts to over the big. Mark. It seemed to have a well-weighted, just not being able to get those tires locked in. But you got to remember, you see where the box is on the Eliminator, the box all the way up on the pan right now, and it's really coming on them, really slowing them down as these guys are turning a terrific amount of horsepower. Probably in the 7,000 pound class, you'd have to say that they're turning as much wheel speed as any class there is, because this will be the class where they'll get the 3, 4, and 5 engines on these machines. Here's the rerun. You can see he comes out hard, gets out to about the 75-foot mark before he really starts to pick that front end. But he's really fighting the left side of the track, and they really hurt the forward motion of his pull. You can see turning to the left, pushing that right brake, trying to pull it back towards the center of the track. Like to be. And we can see really fighting that left side of the line as he went down. And at one point there, it almost seemed like he backed out of it just a little to try and get a better handle on, better control of the machine to get it away from the left. We've seen California really have to be well satisfied with that run, Ed. That'll put him right up in the top standings. 2:13 and 4 is the number 3 position, and 174 feet 5 is the 4th position. So it looks like Manuel would move up into number 4 on the standings right now.
And he calls her Les the Nightmare, and we'll watch for the instant replay to come up. But an excellent run for Manuel Alvarez all the way into the Indy Super number 12 from California. Here's that instant replay. Brings her right down the track, veering a little bit to the left. May have lost a little bit of footage. 206 feet and 3 inches for Manuel.
Build these machines. Likes to stay with the cast iron Chevy block. Saul Norman's been driving for John Shaul the other night. It looks like we're going to have to wait for the laser to read it out, but it looks like the Banter brothers may have the second tractor into the pull-off. Keep your eye on the TV screens at the end. Watch for that distance or full pull to come up, whatever it may be, as the laser machine will read it out.
Big Ben Blue, and what a tremendous run. Reared it up. Russell Mountain says, yes, he has made a full run. There it is. And number 2, Big Ben Blue and Big Ben Orange now have made the full run. Here's the instant replay, front end up in the air, but hangs it in there just excellent, Les. And brings that thing right down across the 234-foot mark. One great piece of driving for Norm Smith of Bensonia, Ohio. So now there will be 3 in the pull-off.
They'll take up the slack in the chain, and you'll notice as they drop the hook on these machines, the big chain off the sled, they also hook up what they call a little kill switch. In the event the tractor would break away from the sled, would automatically kill the engine. There he goes. Whoa, and he really blows the charger on that back engine. You can see he really had a lot of fire and pieces coming out of that back engine as it cracked and jumped.
Now this will be good to watch on the video, as we can see, Les. Just blew that thing right out of there at the end of the run.
Yeah, itself, it detonated, Ed, no doubt about it, and flipped the back charger. In fact, they have the straps that retain these things, and also in that particular case, it looks like the fuel lines and the injector lines help to hold it from kicking any further out of the front.
187 feet and 7 inches for Ken Rice. 187 and 7.
Here it is, Ed, on the replay as we watch him as he comes down the track. He passes the 7,500-foot mark, starts off towards the left side of the track, and right about as he's spinning out, right there, it pops off. Really blows. And you can see just as the front end was setting down, the tires may have left him just turn real hard. His RPMs went high in the air, and itself detonated itself.
Interesting to note, perhaps, Les, did it blow at the end, or did it cause him to stop? I don't know.
Interesting. You'd have to watch the front tires on another rerun to see if the front tires settled down before.
Yeah, maybe we can get the boys to do another rerun.
There you go. He'd have to be well satisfied with that run. You can tell he picked the front end up. But something interesting, we noticed when the Banter brothers, when they had picked the front end up, and when John Shaul picked the front end up, they carried it all the way. Where on Manuel's run, he left it come down just a little bit. Now coming down, you'd think would have helped to lock his tires into the track and get him set.
Ladies and gentlemen, your driver, Rick Dioletti from the Mountain View team, Turlock, California. We'll watch, there it is as it rolls out. 194.1. We invite you to look at the monitors at each end of the track above the doors. 194 and 1.
Now he picked the front end.
And a good piece of running.
Very good, Ronnie Reed. he may have moved right up there in the standings. It looks like he's a little short of that 234-foot mark, but a good run. He could be in the number 3 position right now, 4th position, 3 of them out the end. We'll have to wait and see. 213 feet, 4 inches is the 4th place right now. All the rest of the guys are out the end. We'll have to see how close.
But my Les, does he get a lot done. Here we go in the instant replay now. Ronnie Reed, Longford, Kansas, 2 hot running Irish engines. Look at this, Les. Super piece of driving.
As you can see, as he came out of the hole and went towards the left side of the track, he really had to be on the brakes and then get back towards the right side. That definitely hurt the forward motion on that pull. Had he harvesting, that it is tough to make these events. But Carl's done a great job, and he's never got the kind of performance here at the Super Bowl that he's had many places on the Grand National and Regional circuits. We've seen him in the winner's circle many, many times. But here he's really thirsty. He's really thirsty for that winner's circle here in Indy. And he thinks he psychs himself out. He said he may be psyching himself out next time. Good run. He carried the front end just about all the way down the track. I'm sure he'd like to stretch it out a little bit further, but you definitely have to say good run. Good run for Carl Sneller.
Well, we talk about Les and being the sport of the American farmer.
Well, if he farms 4,000 acres, here's a guy that spends a lot of time in a tractor seat. Here, take a look at the rerun.
Here we go, instant replay. Carl Sneller, Holyoke, Colorado. And as Les said, he's been wanting to win, but it will not be at Indy Super 12 in this particular class.
Well, as we can see, he came out, went towards the right side, and then back towards the left side of the track. And whenever they go from side... for Wayne Ross. He has to be well satisfied with that. That puts him very high in the standings, getting up there past that 200-foot mark.
Wayne Ross, one of the very popular drivers in the East, as Les would certainly tell you. Les does a lot of the polls in the Eastern U.S. Wayne Ross, 3 hot running road acts. Here we go on the instant replay now. Les brings her out. Good fighting.
Again, as we were talking about those butterflies on the injectors, they were open at about 25 to 30 feet. They were all the way open. He had her flat out. And yeah, that's a good run. He came right down just about the center of the track.
2:06 and 10 for Wayne Ross. Good run. Here we go.
There he is, Johnny Gray. This is their second entry. He's going hard. Running in the air. He does a real high wheel stand as he goes towards the left side of the track. And digging and a hopping and a jumping. And it's interesting to note as they put it in reverse to back up on a hook that chain, you see that light coming on. It's a new safety item added to the NTPA rules. All the tractors and trucks must have a light in back now to show when it's in neutral.
He calls her Les the Dixie Flyer, and here's the Dixie Flyer now on instant replay, coming right at us.
He had a fighter right out of the hole. Went towards the right side.
Had to hit that right brake. Now he's way up in the air, Les, losing footage there for the second.
Went to the right and then back to the left. Dig in and look at the replay. What, about 75-80% of the tractors have done the same thing. They come out, went to the right. Now 234 feet is what he has to pass. He needs a full pull to stay in the competition. Let's cheer him on. John Hileman out of Rockford, Ohio. He's going hard for it. Making it into the full category. We're going to have to wait for it to be official. But Ed, you can definitely see the job of driving that he did.
You said it, Les. One great piece of driving, getting every ounce of power out of that machine, and he knew that it would take exactly that. With the drivers that are in front of him, the Banter brothers, both are out the end. And of course, Johnny Shaw from Boltonham, New York. The green light is up on the laser beam. We'll see what they place up. There it is.
Full pull for John Hileman. Great run. Take a look at it on the instant replay. He comes out of the right side of the track, starts going over to the left side, but see how fast he pulled it out in. And then he left it go because he knew if he braked too hard that he would have a tough time
1,700 cubic inch Indy.
Neil Freed doing the drive on the El Toro Bull. Double Allison machine. Fuel injection on both engines. Bullhorn really turning the car. He has a shot at it. Up past the 200-foot mark. Front engineer hopping and a jumping, throwing the dirt. And Ed, quite a display of horsepower there. They do campaign this tractor in the 7, 9, and 12,000 pound classes. And I believe this was the first tractor with the twin Allisons ever to get into the 7,000 pound class. In fact, it's that close on weight. They do not have the weights on this tractor at all right now. Ralph Schindler, I don't know if you know Ralph, the owner of this tractor. Ralph's pretty chunky. He's known as the gourmet chef, the barbecue chef of the circuit. He could not qualify this tractor for the 7,000 pound class. He was too heavy. Neil had to jump into the driver's seat.
And it is, indeed it is, as we've said a number of times, it is the driver and his tractor cannot weigh more than 7,000, so Neil Freed had to crawl in the seat.
You can see Ralph down there. Ralph's a big guy. You can see why he could not get this tractor into the 7,200 pounds weight.
Big old boys.
I mean, this guy's big.
That's all right, Ralph.
This is the kind of guy at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're walking
Here
down
we go.
the street. Okay, rerun.
Instant replay. 206 feet 10 inches. Let's see how he does it. All this massive horsepower coming at us. He just took it right on down, but you can't really fault that run too much.
The jump. Good job of driving. I know, looking at all three of the owners, two Banners. You have to look at Banners having a double shot at it with two tractors. They'd have just a slip with one of them, but all three, Shaul, Hileman, and Banter. About a good run for Dave Banter, and I don't know, Ed, that is going to be a tough one to beat. Look, you see that weight box is all the way forward, and we saw as we were waiting before the pull-off started, they were really throwing the weight into that box.
Just a whale of a run, ladies and gentlemen, for Dave Banter. Here it is now in the instant replay. Coming out, he was bounced a little bit at the start. Now he levels her up, brings her up, head to that left side. He's going to keep her right there, Les, and I think you're right. Good figure to have to beat. Here it is, 2:21 and 2 in the pull-off competition. 2:21 and 2 for Dave Banter, Banter Brothers with Big Ben Orange. Wrangler work clothes, you can't beat them. Now, that sets the stage for our second guy to make a full run, Johnny Shaw, Fultonham, New York. Terribly powerful tractor. He knows now that the stage has been Fultonham, New York, waiting for the green flag at Indy Super number 12, the richest event ever in tractor pulling.
Chain is tight, 221 feet, 2 inches. He's almost close to that 234-foot mark. We definitely have a new leader here in the pull-off of the 7,000 pound modified class. And Eddie, I think he's still short, though, of that 234-foot mark. I don't believe he got it out yet.
Well, we want to watch this one on the instant replay, lads, because you talk about nailing the track. What a great piece of driving by John Shaw of Fultonham, New York. And bring it in now. Old Red.
There it is. It's on the board. Full pull
for
John Shaw. Let's hear it for him.
Instant replay, lads. Coming straight down that track. Has that front end balance just right. Look at this now. You talk about having it all together. There you are. A double full run. You don't see that very often in a pull-off with a guy. Smith, minutes ago, was helping John Shaw. And now he's in the saddle for the Banter brothers. He drives for the Banners as well. Here he goes.
And not enough today to get the Banter brothers into the championship win here at the Indy Super Bowl in the 7 modified, but no doubt about it, both Big Ben Orange and Big Ben Blue laying down two real successful runs. Let's give him a good hand as he leaves the arena. Norm Smith for the Banter brothers. Here it is on the rerun, as you can see, picks the front end up, coming down the right side of the track, now starts to back towards the center. Never leaving that front end touch the ground. Now that may have been good, may have been bad. And you got to remember, when that front end stays high in the air, the drawbar in the back is definitely not getting the downfall they would like. But it was so close that there was probably not. Green flag is out, chain is tight. John out. To get it out the end, so John Shaul is the winner of the 7,000-pound modified class. John Shaul, the winner. We're going to have to wait for the distance. And the way it stands right now,